Today I'm working on a series of white bread. This is bread recipe number 3. We have in here already eggs, yeast, but we don't have salt yet because I always put salt last. You always use less salt than what is desired. So I always put between 3/4 teaspoon, 2 teaspoons of salt. So like Alex said in here already, we have warm water, lukewarm water, egg, oil, sugar, and this time we're using regular all-purpose flour instead of bread flour, and we'll see what the result is. We're going to start number 4, and I can see the dough is pretty wet, so we're going to put in a tablespoon of flour in right away. I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon flour at a time. The dough looks pretty wet to me, so we're going to go in with 3 tablespoons of regular flour. And you can see how the flour is looking, making the dough more pliable. So the same recipe as we did on the first 2 bread. But this one we don't have bread flour, we have regular all-purpose flour. So we did 3 already, I'm going to do 4. And looking from my eye, you can see it's pretty wet, so I'm going to put in a 5th tablespoon. So we started out with 3 cups of regular all-purpose flour, and as I was putting the tablespoon, that was 5 tablespoons already, and I'm going to put in a 6th one. And now I'm going to turn the speed a little higher, and we'll see what the dough looks like in about 5 minutes. But I'll come and check in about 3 minutes. But look how sticky the dough is. So, and it's very wet. So definitely we need more flour. So I'm going to add in a good 1/2 cup of flour. Feel the dough now. Oh yes, it's tougher, see? Alright, so total we add, let's see, 3 cups of flour and then another 6 tablespoons flour, and then another 1/2 cup. So bread is very forgiving, and depending on the humidity where you are making your bread, so you might need more flour. So in the recipe, I probably would reduce the water when I'm using regular flour instead of bread flour. So we'll see once we bake it. And the dough been beating for a good 5 minutes, and it's coming off the dough balls climbing up the hook pretty good. So we're going to stop it now. Right, this is dough number 3 we are working on. This one has regular flour and not bread flour. I'm going to scrape it out. Take a little flour here so it doesn't stick. Okay, this hand has flour, this one doesn't. So, oh, the dough's nice, see? It came nicely together. Came nicely together with the extra flour. See? And you thought that dough was too wet, we might not be able to save it. So, I oil up the bowl here. We're gonna let it rest and put saran wrap on it. And spread the top of the dough so it won't stick to the saran wrap. You can oil it as well. And we're going to let it rest in a warm place. So about an hour to an hour and a half later. So this is dough number 3. And this dough has doubled in size. Now I'm just pushing down, deflating the air. This one is made with oil and with all-purpose flour and not bread flour. So put that flour in it and take it out. I'm going to deflate the dough. And then I'm going to roll it up. The key here is to get all the bubble out. And then we're going to put it in a glass loaf pan. Because I am doing a couple of videos and all on bread, on a different way you can do bread. So that way I remember which dough has what. So the glass dough here, get the air bubble out, and we're going to let it sit. The last one has it's a little bit too small and I have way too much dough, so I'm going to take some out. So this one, I'm just going to push it down. Take a little bit more off. You know, there's no exact measurement here when making bread. And just make sure you oil your container. We're going to roll it back up. See, nice oblong. Smooth. So this is much better. So that we can double in size. See? So I took some of the big one and I have a little one left. So I'm going to oil here a small mini loaf pan. And we're going to put it in here. Oh, actually it's filled up full. So we can do it in half. So we do 2 mini loaf pan then. Because remember, it's always double in size. So there we go. There's one. And here's 2. And we'll let that rest. Bread number 3. And this is the mini loaf of the bread number 3 because the glass one is a little bit smaller. And we're going to let it rest to double in size. Not a hot oven. It's just that way the draft won't dry it out. Won't be in the open air. And so it's like in a sealed container. So we're going to let it rest there for an hour. The bread in the oven has double in size. So we can bake it now. Internal temp off this is 190, so I'm going to flip it out so that way let the steam vent so the bread won't get soggy. Here are the mini loaves that came out earlier because they're smaller. They didn't take as long. And we're going to wait till it cools before we cut into it. 3, this is the one that I put in the glass loaf pan, and that glass was not big enough. So I took some dough out and made 2 mini loaves. So this recipe is exactly the same as recipe number 2. The only thing I changed was that I used all-purpose flour instead of bread flour, the big one, so we can see the difference. See, it's not as it has more holes. It's not as nice as the one with the bread flour. Let's see the taste. We can tell the difference on the taste. So you can see side by side. I'll do a side-by-side comparison on after we get all the 5 different bread. But let's taste. I can feel it. It's not as smooth as the bread flour. It's a little rough, more dense. And let's see how it tastes. Let's see close up. Okay, it doesn't stretch. It breaks easier. So bread flour has a higher gluten, so that's why your bread will stretch a little bit more. While the all-purpose flour, let's see, the taste will break easier. It's still soft, but it has a less chew than the one that is a bread flour, but still delicious. Recipe number 3 out of my series of the different how you can sub from milk to water, butter to oil, and using bread flour or regular flour. So this one is recipe number 3. It has water, oil, and all-purpose flour instead of bread flour, and still tastes good. Bon appetit.